something that you can really base a survey point around.
Yeah. Thanks for all your questions and for being with us on this quest. This is day number 5. Yeah, right?
Solid question.
Of this expedition that basically started 5 years ago when Ross Matthews started this search and raising funds and finding support of other organizations to be able to make this dream come true in 2000. He started in 2014. So this is great that you're part of this with your questions and keep following us.
Yeah, I was 16 when this whole thing started.
Quiet. I don't need to know that.
Oh, you were 16 too?
Yeah, I was 16 also
okay,
then. Yep.
cool.
Yep. Kind of like how my mom's had many 40th birthdays.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was told once you get to 40, you start counting backwards.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
So if we had found something more promising, Hercules could have gone that deep. Yes.
Oh yeah.
I guess Hercules can go as deep as Argus can go, right? Or not really?
Not quite.
Nope.
Okay, tell me more about that.
4,000 meters for Herc.
So it's 2,000 meters less than Argus?
It's 2,000 less than Argus.
Okay.
It's got a lot more stuff on it that would be more sensitive. Well,
with pressure?
Argus is just a metal sled. Obviously, it's more than just a metal sled, but you get what I'm saying.
Smart metal sled.
Yes. With a fin.
Some lights.
And lights. And cameras that work most of the time.
And noisy things, apparently.
And noisy lights and cameras.
Thrusters.
Thrusters.
I think it's amazing that the zoom on the camera can be picked up in the sonar.
Well, that's abnormal. That's not a normal.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
not. It's not supposed to make that noise.
That just
Oh,
started.
that's yeah, that's interesting.
How likely is it that the plane sunk closer to the shore?
How likely is it? I mean, we are looking in a southern and western direction from the initial point and the initial survey area because currents in the surface swell that day were recorded to have been going in the northeast. So we assume that the oil plume coming up from the bottom and the wreckage on the surface, if it had been drifting to the north and to the east, the origin of that would have been to the south and the west. So that tells you that it could have been a little bit closer to shore. I don't think it was significantly closer to shore because they got a plane up to look for. There was smoke, and there were a lot of witnesses who reported smoke on the horizon. So they got a plane up within a few hours, and I don't see debris having moved that far. I think there's only a few knots of wind at the time, but again, we didn't find it in the area that we expected to, so it's kind of hard to say. You know, based on that.
The image we have on the down left rocks again.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of these. So because we're going slow, at like 1 knot with Argus, we can't really go faster because of the weight of the 3,200 meters of cable that are in the water behind Nautilus. And we also don't want to go too fast with Argus because we might hit something. The sonar will ping. It seems to be pinging on objects multiple times, so you have that sort of stretching of objects. But we're still fairly confident that
Roger.
the shadow would still, appear with right angles or squarish, straight lines, man-made looking objects, even if we get multiple pings on it. So it's kind of an interpretive thing. We've seen a lot of these blocky or sort of clumpy looking things, which as we've seen in the Argus camera that looks directly below, we've been able to ground truth that as rock. Volcanic rocks, some that are lava flows, those long linear ones that have sort of a line in the middle, that we believe are like lava tubes or lava flows, and then these smaller rocks are little boulders and cobbles that have been probably rolling down from the island.
Thank you. And we have little Michael, 7 years old, and
Another
he
Michael?
wants to
Michael's
be.
a really good name.
Yes, it's a really good name, and he is going to be the captain of the Nautilus and find a bunch of planes.
Sweet.
Kudos to him. Yes.
Outstanding.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Can
That's
you
awesome.
be captain now? We could use your plane finding ability.
Yeah, he can come help us find planes now.
It would be great.
That's awesome. That's even younger than I knew I wanted to get on a
Yeah.
ship.
That's so great. Thank you for following us, Michael.
So I saw a shark from the monkey deck a couple hours ago.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I saw,
yeah.
I saw one of the
The
oceanic
white tips.
white tips.
That's-
The white
yeah.
tips.
I couldn't get my camera out fast enough, and the second I did, they disappeared.
I did get a little video of you.
I think
if you
Megan
want.
got some pictures of 2 of them.
Cool.
Nice.
No, I just got one of them.
Were they? So you guys saw them off the starboard side, or?
Both sides.
I
Yeah,
saw on
both
the
of
starboard side social deck.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw them port side from the monkey deck,
That's really cool.
or just one.
It's a little scary, but mostly cool.
Just don't get in the water.
I don't plan to, but
I would love to get in the water. It looked very inviting.
Yeah,
Even with
it
the sharks in there
looks
looked
so
inviting?
beautiful, so
It's
blue.
like cool to snorkel with some
Yeah.
sharks.
not that type.
I mean, they can be vicious.
Those types specifically can be aggressive, yeah.
So is anyone that's getting off the ship tomorrow gonna spend any time in Samoa?
I mean, we're staying overnight, but besides
Other
that,
than
I'm
no.
not.
Yeah, no.
But I'd love to, if we have enough time in that overlay, go to that swimming hole.
No.
That's
Y-
the other.
that's-
It's completely the other
Yeah,
side of the
that's
island.
that's off of Apia. That's like the north central, and we're on the northwest side.
That's
There i-
really unfortunate.
You can go swimming, but not there. We went diving beforehand on a tugboat wreck that's right off the beach of the hotel. But it's a like
The hotel was pretty far
88
from
meters
everything.
of water, or feet of water.
That's
so you can't.
disappointing.
Yeah, you're not going to get unless you booked your own room like in Apia and got yourself to the airport. It's not.
No,
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
got
mean,
government orders to return back.
yeah.
I have 4 nights. I have 4 nights there.
Oh, that's
Something
good.
like-
Nice.
Trying to figure out what to do.
Go to the swimming hole, take pictures, and send them to me.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of snorkel.
Yep, definitely a snorkel. I'm kicking myself for
Yeah.
not bringing my snorkel with me, my mask, but
Well, I guess the hotel we stayed at, I think you could borrow them, but it was kind of a
You can
resort-y
probably either
type
rent or
place.
just buy a cheap set. There's a dive shop near the Blue Hole.
cool.
I think there's 2 actually.
Give you mine, but my plan is when I get
think I'm-
time off to immediately go diving. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not going to get time off, so.
I'll get some time off. I just have to go back first and do paperwork.
Diving in Cape Cod?
Yep.
That's scary.
Not typically less oceanic diving, but if you do, we do it. It's usually closer to the canal. And rule number 1 is if you see seals, don't dive.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
swim with the food.
Don't swim with the food.
So I think we might have a bingo actually, because you told one of the things is a shark story So you just told us about how you were trying to get your camera to photograph the white tip sharks.
That was a shark.
That's
I think
true.
that counts.
That
And
is
we have a bingo.
Hey.
All right, read 'em
Yes.
out to us.
Did he also mention Cape Cod? Oh, okay.
So, it was in the I column, a bingo. So some of the ones that, should we read the ones that you didn't say?
Yeah.
Or should we, okay.
Well, just read the ones that got the bingo, and then
The ones that
move
got the
on from
bingo
there.
were the quality of the turn.
Of course, it was a
I
good
was
turn.
joking. Something about high pack crashing, a shark story, and something about your flight schedule.
Ah.
Awesome.
Okay.
So we missed some though. We didn't get you saying the words Argus assistant, surprisingly.
Really?
Argus is what?
Argus assistant.
Argus assistant. You didn't mention the
I swear, I don't think I've said it on SPL, but I definitely said it to Mike.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
been
you
said.
didn't mention the Navy recently. You didn't say you haven't said sea cucumber. Believe it or not, I've been
In a
waiting.
while.
Um,
Everybody else is saying
I definitely did. Just
Even
this
if we were
watch.
going,
No, you just
we were
said it.
talking
No,
about
yeah,
the
you
I
did.
said
the
they updated
islands.
the sea cucumber
Yeah,
No,
count.
you just
Yeah.
said the count.
yeah.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
wow,
talked.
I'm
Yeah.
not really helpful for this game. All right.
You didn't talk about any fishing gear recently. Any different types of fishing gear?
I was just about to talk about. So when,
I know
when
you were
said
talking about the
bingo
canal.
because we were going to the canal for spearfishing.
Oh, there we go. Fishing
There you
gear.
go.
That's not a, yeah.
It's not a double
I'm
bingo.
counting it though.
It's
Not a
great.
double bingo. You haven't said don't quote me lately.
That's a good.
You didn't,
I
s-
have to say that a lot
you didn't
because
say that's a good question.
That's a caveat for being in the Coast Guard.
Or
Don't quote me on that.
yeah.
have you guys seen? It was some. There was,
He
you know,
must have said
That's
that when
'cause-
we were talking about movies.
That's because
You know-
he can't remember the movies he saw.
It was. Yeah, we were close to that. You haven't. There's one for converting a measurement in your head. So you haven't done that lately. You haven't talked about how much luggage you have lately. And
that one he was talking about earlier,
It's
but
a
it wasn't
lot.
in the van, so it didn't count.
saying the word math.
Oh yeah, like
Um,
under his breath. Oh math.
And
He didn't
you
say that when we were talking about the bingo
I,
thing.
I know. You didn't give us any medical tips lately, or medical facts. So now's the time.
Yeah.
That is so great.
Thanks for
I guess
playing along.
that
Thanks
is
for
a-
the
Chris.
audience that has been following
that is
this
a
bingo. They are
good-
excited too.
Yeah, reminder for all medical advice, seek out your primary care physician.
Don't quote me on it.
But
Don't quote me on it, and do not do it just because I said it. That is one of the worst things to do.
Oh,
What was
There
that?
was
A little
There's
tail
like
of
a-
something.
Fish, yeah, fish tail.
Fishtail.
Were you about to break into song there?
Woo.
Oh,
No,
yep.
the DuckTales.
I was thinking of, you guys ever see Dragon Tales?
Dragon Tales?
yes.
No. I've only seen DuckTales.
Yep.
Dragon Tales was a kid's show.
Yeah, I kind of
with-
remember that.
That was, yeah,
What
my
was that?
childhood.
I think we're sensing a generational gap here.
I remember DuckTales.
I don't
yeah,
know.
Yeah, you and I remember DuckTales.
Yeah.
They remember
Dragon Tales
something
seems
else.
so much cooler.
Is it T-A-L-E or T-A-I-L?
Yeah, it's T-A-L-E.
Oh, that's dumb.
Well, because
Tales
the
was
dragons
also-
have
I know,
tails.
I know, I know.
Yeah, I don't know. Dragon's Tales. I don't know.
And then there was Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Oh yeah.
That had a really good theme song too.
What was I gonna say? Oh, DuckTales had like an extremely good Nintendo game. Oddly, it was like one of the very best ones I can remember.
DuckTales was like I remember that was like the three little ducklings, and there was like they were like Daffy Ducks, not
yeah,
Daffy Duck.
nephews, and then Donald Duck's nephews.
Yeah, Donald
And
Duck.
then their grandfather was like the guy who hoarded gold.
Yeah,
yes,
Scrooge
and they would like swim
And
in
he
the
would swim
gold.
in it, yeah.
yeah.
I never
Such an
saw that.
awesome
Was that on
show.
cable?
See, I'm in
Yeah.
the middle of the.
I
I
didn't
think
have
I'm in the middle
cable.
of the
Well, it also was
generations.
on in like the late 80s. So.
Okay, yeah, that would not have been me.
Didn't have cable before I was born either.
Early 90s maybe.
I imagine like the internet being a big thing and Chip and Dale still being a big thing, and then kids being fans and trying to
Yeah.
look up Chippendale online and getting a
God.
lot of results that
I shouldn't
don't
be seeing.
correlate.
Right.
I don't think that would be a unique phenomenon.
Maybe. Just has to happen once. You guys seen that SNL skit?
Which one?
Who is it? Patrick Swayze
You just said
and
everything.
who's Chris Farley?
No.
And they're
Oh,
like supposed
yes,
to
I
be,
did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Yeah. Yes, I did. Absolutely. Took me a minute to remember. Yeah. At first, I was thinking someone playing Patrick Swayze, but like a long time ago, actually Patrick Swayze. Yeah.
I feel like I was on the verge of saying like any of those.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, you just said one a minute
Yeah,
ago.
you just gave us another one.
Well, yeah, now I feel at liberty to use such phrases because it's over.
He did talk about Duncan, right? That was crossed off.
Well, I crossed it off only because he said it and he
Well,
guessed it. So
yeah, I said, he's like, there's probably some that you like
yeah,
know,
but you guessed
and
it.
I
Yeah.
was like, yeah.
That was
like,
the only one you were going to guess, though.
And you were gonna anyway. That's like the free space in a way.
Yeah. But that wasn't part of the bingo, so it wasn't a cheap
Oh,
victory.
okay,
my
yeah, that's
Kathy.
good.
So Michael, how many expeditions like this have you been part of?
Which one?
Like this type of
Which Michael?
oh, you,
Oh.
Brennan.
I have no idea. It's
So many?
A great many, I imagine.
let me see if I can count. Hold on.
At least one.
Yes, it's greater than one.
That's for sure.
Yeah, just give me a minute. I'll get back to you.
Just gonna
I was
start
asking
writing
Lonnie
feature
about
on the
her
website,
experience.
If you go on the profile, specifies which cruises an individual was on.
Oh, really?
I don't know if they've gone back and filled in everybody, if it's just people who are currently out.
My list has got to be
Do
pretty
they
long.
never get rid of anybody on that
No, it's
list of people?
yeah.
Once
people
you're
who
in the
haven't
Corps
been
of
out in, like,
Exploration,
3 or
you're
4
always in the
years
Corps of
and
for life.
Exploration.
Yep.
It's like the Marines, but exploration.
I think
Yeah.
it's like 26 or 27. Or no, with this one it's like, yeah.
Is that on Nautilus or on?
Yeah, no,
all
that's
vessels?
only on Nautilus. I've done a lot more than that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was
That's
asking
going
Lonnie
back
about
to
her
2009.
experience on expeditions like this, and she was saying that she was part of 7 or 9. Do you guys remember?
7.
7.
Oh, I couldn't even
And-
count the like total expeditions that were other ships include other than Nautilus.
Yeah, I think she was talking about just planes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like aircraft
planes.
searches,
And
yeah,
she
yeah.
was telling us that only one of those expeditions ended up finding what they were looking for.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
hard.
it's not, it's not an easy thing.
Mhm.
There's the challenges of just looking in deep water. There's also the challenges of interpreting historical accounts. I mean, it would have been amazing if the Avocet, the Navy ship, had written down coordinates of where they pulled up, where they observed the oil slick and the debris and all that. They did not. There's, and so we have to dig through archives, which Lonnie is very good at, and then we have to also interpret and try to fuse different bits of information together to come up with a plan. So yeah, it's certainly not an easy thing. I mean, when Ballard found the Titanic, it was not the first time he went to look for it. Actually, it was the second time he went to look, or I think it was the second or third time he went to look for it is when he found it. So it hasn't been an easy thing, and it isn't an easy thing. It's I mean, ships like Nautilus and Okeanos make access to the deep sea seem a lot easier than it is because they have the infrastructure and the experience to do it all 6 months or more a year and get all that information out to the public. So it seems like it's an easy thing, but it really isn't. So
Yeah.
and we as the science team and the clients in this instance, we give our utmost thanks and respect to everyone on board who's working really hard to keep us in the water, to make sure that we're getting good coverage and doing our due diligence in doing a systematic survey for this.
Yeah, absolutely. And can we use our cell phones? Well, we can't use our cell phones. We do have some internet connection, but we cannot use our cell phones.
Can we get a zoom on that fish, please?
Is that a rat tail?
Oh,
No. It's like a manatee, but a
Yeah.
very small one.
you sure it's a fish? It seems like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
dead.
Yeah, that's a fish.
That's a fish.
Well,
But it's not moving.
Yeah.
he's probably afraid of the lights.
Oh, poor little thing.
That was more like a cusk eel or grenadier.
All right. Is it bigger than a bread box?
No, that'll fit inside one, I guess. Well, hard to tell. You're pretty far
Yeah,
away.
hard to tell.
Are those sea cucumbers, Becca? You see them? Oh, yeah. Becca's gone for dinner. Thank you so much for following us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram as well, and be part of these adventures. Yeah, next week we're going to be visiting unexplored regions from National Marine Sanctuary of American Samoa. So we're going to stay in this region for a couple of weeks more, and then we're going to head back to the US West Coast. And of course, if you have kids, you're a teacher, you're in some way, in some capacity related to education, or you just have kids, nephews, or nieces, we have in our website some good educational materials for you to share and play with the kids. Just go to nautiluslive.org/education. You'll find a bunch of very cool things that our team in education has developed. And very soon we're going to be translating some of those to Spanish. So in case you're interested,
That's cool.
there you go. Is there a camera that we don't ever see on the stream that you can show us? Oh, there's several cameras. I don't know if we can show one of them.
Yeah, we can. I mean, I think I've shown every camera.
Thank you for following us. It's good that you, even if you don't use social media and you're just here on our website, it's great. We love it.
This, the camera that I just put in the quad view is, we call it the Argus utility camera. It's on Argus, so it's at the seafloor right now, but it just keeps an eye on a couple of gauges so the team can monitor those pressure gauges.
Cool. So for our audience, if you go to our quad, you're going to see that camera on Argus. It's not something that we show to the audience very much, right?
Yeah, not usually. And here's a view of the back of Argus with the fin that's been put on, especially for this towing. It's black and white. Does the job.
Yeah.
TD, I haven't gotten the chance to talk to you very much, just because we've been on different watches.
I know.
So, do you work with Search Inc. or Air Sea Heritage?
So I'm an archaeologist with Search.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
How'd you get started in archaeology? I'm sure you've been asked this a bunch of times.
Probably
but
not with this watch, though, so...
That's great, yes.
There we go, I can give you the spiel. So I was a political science major for an undergraduate degree, and basically got to, the end and didn't really want to go into law and didn't know what to do, and ended up taking an elective my last semester in maritime archaeology. And
your last semester?
Yeah, seriously.
Wow.
And was like, oh, this is really cool. Like, I've grown up around the water. I like maritime history. I scuba dive, and so that literally just sort of changed the route. I don't know what I would have done now that I think of it, but yeah, just took a semester off, did all the GREs and all that sort of stuff, and then went to graduate school. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I always like the history aspect versus the legal aspect of political science, because so much of it is history.
Right.
But yeah, I know. So you don't have to be, anthropology or archaeology. people in graduate school had degrees from all over the place.
And they just sort of found out,
Yeah,
huh,
yeah.
this is something I really want to do.
Yeah, I mean, a lot do have your traditional anthropology, archaeology, or history degree, but you certainly don't have to. And even, if the public is interested in getting involved in maritime archaeology, there's lots of volunteer opportunities for, divers and non-divers that want to go out and help people document and monitor. That's especially important, is monitor known sites for changes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we really rely on, the citizen scientists to do a lot of the work for us when we're not there all the time.
Gotcha.
Yes,
Right.
yes. Well, how are you enjoying your time on Nautilus?
It's been really fascinating.
I agree.
Definitely, like, my interest is a lot more in biology or marine biology and, like, ecology. So for me, like, side scan sonar is not as exciting, but I think it's still been really interesting being on board with professionals and hearing about, like, the different courses they took to get to their careers. Lonnie, who just has an amazing, like, has had an amazing life, and just being able to interact with all of you has been really, really cool. Sort of taking on the data logging position has been really interesting, and, like, I'm really grateful for this leg as sort of a training grounds before the next
you get everything down.
Exactly. Yeah, really getting used to, like, the workflow before we hit areas where we're going to be doing actual sampling, and that's going to require me to be doing a lot more work. And just, like, keeping track of more numbers, more, like, sampling containers, and this is really good practice for that.
Well, unfortunately we haven't found anything yet, but typically shipwrecks or submerged planes are really hot spots for biological diversity. A lot of times, they're in areas that don't necessarily have, great structure, so they provide that hard structure for all the organisms to start colonizing, and then you get the coral and the little fish and the big fish. So, while archaeologists don't necessarily look at them for that aspect, a lot of times we have biologists piggyback on to projects just so they can look at the marine life on the sites.
Yeah, we were talking about on our watch, because Summer actually used to work for some salvage companies as well. We were discussing, like, sort of intentional like sinking of ships, especially for, like, artificial reefs or, like, scuttling for like military purposes.
Yeah, the company she worked for scuttled some of the ones down in the Florida Keys where I live now.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really interesting, hearing, like, that side of, like, I never really thought about the intentional sinking of ships. Like, I always sort of was like, oh, it's an accident, and thinking about, like, there's a whole science behind how do you effectively sink a ship. Is super fascinating.
And there's a lot of, habitat and biology studies that go into finding locations to put those down. You don't want to impact the bottom, right, in any of sensitive ecosystems. You want to put them where you're going to add benefit to the ecosystem. So, so you could be doing, biological surveys in preparation for sinking an artificial reef. Yeah,
we were also talking about, like, we also discussed really heavily during our, well, not really heavily, but it came up a few times, is the Simone Clipper going to have biological life growing on it? And sort of based on, like, what we've been seeing from the rocks in this area, it's pretty unlikely.
I was surprised this morning, when we went over the two target areas at a close distance, there was, I didn't really see much of any activity around them. I was shocked. I expected there to be more marine life.
Were, like, we've seen a couple sea anemones, but it's barely been anything. Mostly just, like, those pelagic holothurians. So I'm really curious. I'm really curious about, like, why, at least from this height, why it seems like the sea bottom is so bare relative to everything we've been seeing in the water column.
I don't know whether there's not those organisms living on the mud. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from this height.
But the rocks, I mean, we've certainly gotten close enough to enough of the rocks, and
just there. Yeah, hopefully, I'd love to come back here and take a closer look at some of the bottom areas, but yeah.
Yeah, do you know what depths you're going to be working at in the next leg for the sanctuary?
I'm really not sure. That's a good question. I guess we'll find out more soon.
Yeah.
And
be a good comparison if you're doing more shallow water work.
Yeah, and also if we do find the Simone Clipper, we will get some probably up-close views with Argus, and then
Yes.
we can start to investigate to see if there's anything living nearby, and also investigate the wreck itself.
Yeah, throw that on the side. I know.
I'm sorry.
I know. Well, we think exactly the opposite. We're like, get that marine life out of the way. We want to look. We want to look at the shipwreck or the plane. Yeah.
Yeah.
No
All right.
offense, but.
I'm going to turn this back over to Rebecca, but it was great talking to you,
Yes.
Dee Dee.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
See you down below later.
See you down below.
That was actually Peyton, our data logger, one of our data loggers, and he is the artist. He is documenting this expedition with his watercolors, and I think we're gonna post those on our Instagram or other social media. We haven't found the clipper yet. We're about to finish scanning the extended area, with not many interesting targets on this last day.
Now that we've been looking at what the seafloor looks like and the rock structures, we've honed in our target picking abilities and have a better feel for what could be man-made versus what is probably a rock.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we have trained our eyes, definitely.
For sure.
For sure, yeah. So we have a very multidisciplinary team here. So if you're interested, please keep following us and find what your interest is and apply. Who knows, you can be part of the next year expedition.
Yeah, one of the great things about the Nautilus is that everyone here has a different backstory and has a different way that they came to the Nautilus, and everyone can contribute individually to the mission. And I know that sounds a little bit cheesy, but it really is true. This type of work requires a wide diversity of people and a lot of different skill sets to all come together to make it happen.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I mean, I'm from Illinois, landlocked state. Well, got a Great Lake, but no ocean classes, and here I am. So you don't have to necessarily go straight into ocean studies or make that your major in college in order to be, quote, qualified to come aboard the Nautilus. We love having people from all sorts of backgrounds who have an interest that somehow connects to the ocean, the Nautilus, and its mission.
Doing a quick step zoom here. That's full zoom. Coming out. Full wide.
If you're gonna do that, you might as well do put in the radio static. Just call and be like, that's full wide. Coming out.
I think you're muted.
So a question coming in about the aircraft, about whether it's intact or not. We honestly don't think it's going to be intact, but we can't say how many pieces it might be in, because a whole lot of things we don't know.
At least one piece.
At least one piece, the wings.
Yeah, we just don't know.
I mean, I guess that's as low as something can be, one piece.
One piece. continue to send in those questions as we continue our search for the Simone Clipper. We're continuing our southern expanded search area search lines. Argus is still in the water, and Argus only. Hercules won't be on these dives. But you can see channel 1, our side scan sonar, which appears to be a mostly unremarkable, relatively flat seabed.
Hey Mike, how many meters per division is the Mesotech?
10 per.
10?
You sound like you're underwater. There he is. What are you doing?
I think Ed spent too many hours in the van on this, this one.
Underwater.
There's extra 2 hours
Sounds
a day.
good, thanks.
If you look at channel 3, you can see where we're at right now, that those colors underneath are actually the multi-beam sonar map that the Okeanos Explorer mapped out of this area 2 years prior. Made it significantly easier to navigate the area, anticipate any rises and falls. That way we make sure we can keep Argus relatively close to the bottom without having to worry about running into anything or being able to go up or down as quickly as we need to and anticipate with the rise and fall of the seafloor. We don't, I mean, technically there is a camera looking at Herc right now, but it's in the ROV hangar on the ship because Hercules is not diving right now. The view you're seeing in channel 2 is exclusively Argus. It's actually relatively, it's pretty much right underneath Argus, slightly forward facing. So if you look in channel 1, you can see that black area in the middle of the screen. That's the nadir, and that's the area of the sonar that is not being scanned. It's a side scan, so obviously, since the name, you're not scanning underneath you.
Herc's been out of the water so long we have to put moisturizer on it at night.
I was just thinking about
we do give that job to Ed to lotion the ROV.
it's a pre-dive. But no, when you give the description of what channels like people are looking at, putting that view of Herc up in the hangar and being like, on channel 1 we have our Argus view.
Oh yeah.
Channel 2 is our Herc view.
Our viewers know better.
If you take a look at that, you will see Herc sitting in the hangar.
He's on vacation.
I see Bobby Argus is still down there monitoring the gauges for us.
Yeah. He's got it under control.
Now we just need a flying boat.
There's still time. Not much of it, but there is still time.
There's time. Who's getting up for that? Oh, the recovery's around 4, huh?
Yeah.
3 or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll be here.
I was going to say be here, be square, but that doesn't rhyme and that's not the saying.
You can go for it, though.
Okay. Be here, be square.
There you go. Felt good. Own it.
It's about saying it with confidence.
You're on the next leg, yeah?
On the what?
How long are you on for?
Oh no, I get off tomorrow morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know, bummer.
Oh, right, because you're getting replaced by Suleiman.
Yeah.
Suleiman al-Suleimani.
Very cool guy.
I'm glad I remember my one word of Arabic.
Is that being his name, or is there another word?
Marhaban. Hello.
Which, oh.
Yeah, it's a non-believer greeting.
Bridge now.
We've got Taiwan joining us now.
Yay.
There's no Lonnie here to ask if she's been there. My guess is yes.
I don't know. Visiting Taiwan would be sensitive to mainland China, and she might have had to, with her career, balance those concerns.
Yeah. She's got a whole other part of her life that I'm sure is just as exciting, but off the books. He's got a lot of energy. I just ate 12
Yeah. Someone wrote in and told us that 6 full coffee beans equals the equivalent of a cup of coffee, I believe. So I just had 2 cups of coffee in approximately 12 seconds. Catch me swimming my way back to port.
How long until it kicks in?
Yeah. Yeah. Bridge now. After we complete this line, we're going to continue tracking and I will call back. Thank you.
Where's the next line? Above?
Below.
Right there.
Oh,
it's
barely
green on
see
green,
it.
so it's hard to see.
Oh man, we gotta change those colors.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to crash.
Get Dan up
anything
here. He
again.
loves changing stuff.
He does, but I wouldn't let him touch high pack.
That was our. There was a bingo square on all our bingo cards.
Yeah, I saw it. It's hold on, BING, row G, third one from the left. Wait, if it's the one you're talking about.
No.
Oh, are all your bingo cards the same?
No, they're all different. They're all, but they all have Dan makes a change.
Yeah, yeah. the one I looked at, it was G3.
Okay. No, there's a few of them around.
Except it's not on the Chris Says bingo.
He somehow got it to the point today that monitor wouldn't accept any other input.
The winch one?
Yeah. Mon, upper right, ROV. Have you ever seen these buttons over here, Mike?
What, this one you mean?
No, yeah, no, this monitor wouldn't accept anything. So we have a control panel over here that feeds that monitor, which is upper right ROV.
Mm-hmm.
You should look at this control panel.
What do you got on it?
I didn't do it, Tim did.
Upper right ROV. I understand what that button is over here now.
Do you have one of those too?
Yeah, in the far corner.
Yeah.
It's the only one that is black writing on a white background while all the rest is white on black.
And what's it say underneath it? Anything?
It says you are ROV.
Yeah,
okay.
I got that button too.
They made me a special one over here.
You're ROV.
No.
No.
That's so much better.
Keep sending in those questions. We'd love to answer them. We are continuing our search for the smoke clipper. We're in the last,
especially our
less than
viewer
12 hours
from
now.
Taiwan.
Yeah. Next week we'll still be in American SMO, but we'll be in the National Marine Sanctuary for American SMO. We're doing some study of the geology and biology of the area. And those dives you will see Hercules.
I'm telling you, you can see Hercules now.
Yes, you technically can.
It's just not going anywhere.
Hercules will,
Well, they
will be
can't.
more active though.
We can.
Yeah. They don't want to because it's boring.
Ed will be preparing Hercules.
I think this is the last port call where people spend a night in a hotel over on Samoa before joining the boat. And the next time we're in port, they're like, I think, coming from the airport to the boat.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
It's a harsh transition.
Yeah. Long trip.
Oh, yeah, that's nasty.
It's a lot of flying, a lot of driving.
After being
a lot of
told
sitting.
that the hotel we're in isn't exactly near a ton of things, I might just use it to sleep. Try to get on the right sleep schedule.
It's got a nice pool and
It's beautiful.
Yeah, like local, like right there.
Yeah,
like
and a nice
hotel
beach.
stuff.
I swam around that little Motu out there.
Yeah. Good snorkeling.
But we also rented a cab and went to a local store and did some shopping and stuff.
Yeah, I might get some things. maybe to
Ta'ula
bring
Strong.
back.
The question that came in about, is it possible that the sediment has covered the aircraft? It's strong? No. Obviously we can't see it right now to show you, obviously, but the movement of sediment down there is not particularly strong. There's not a pretty strong current moving things around.
And the sedimentation rate's really low. You can still see rocks exposed.
Most deep water wrecks are usually fairly well preserved and visible, unless you're somewhere that's maybe at like the mouth of a river or something that has a lot of sedimentation. So if we were to see it or find this mud clipper, you would, whatever parts of it we did find, you would see fairly clearly. Ooh, Montenegro.
Montenegro?
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen Montenegro join us. Welcome.
Somebody's just playing around with their VPN. Where's Montenegro?
In the world?
Sorry, I asked.
Near Italy? I have no idea. As you can tell.
I can show you.
Go for it.
Don't you have internet access over there?
Not up here. Oh, well, this, yes.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. I turned all my stuff off to make a phone call. I have cell service here, Mike.
What's that?
I have cell service here.
You do?
Pretty close to the island.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, I don't
The Balkans.
have an international plan, so.
That's the first thing that comes up in a Google search. Is Montenegro safe?
What are you searching for?
Montenegro?
Oh. Oh, is it safe?
I think it's in South America, but I'm not sure.
No.
No, it's in North Africa, isn't it?
Oh. Wait. It's in the Baltics.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it's close to North Africa, but
Yeah.
not. It's north of Greece and Albania.
Yeah, that's right.
Macedonia, Kosovo, Serbia.
Yeah, you're thinking of Montevideo, which is the capital of Uruguay.
Ah.
How close is it to Italy?
It's across the Adriatic.
Okay. I wasn't too terribly far off. It could have been worse.
What did you say, Italy?
I said near Italy.
It is.
That's actually closer than
Right
the US
across
got,
from the
so
water.
There you go.
Are you
I'll
thinking
take
of like
it.
Monte Carlo? Is that?
That's what I was thinking of in North Africa, yeah.
Yeah, not Monte Carlo. That's in Monaco, I think, which is by Italy as well.
Oh, there's a.
I think Montenegro is across from Bari, Italy.
That is.
Ooh, good guess. Like straight across. My brother's.
Well, I mean, everything's
small
straight
it's a
between
small
2
sea.
points.
That's my wife's name.
It's a good
No, like
Spelled the exact same
line.
way.
Bari or Montenegro?
She pronounces it Barry, but it's B-A-R-I. Bari.
Her name Montenegro.
Her name is Montenegro.
That's the worst name.
Montenegro.
Someone writes in, my name's Montenegro.
Yeah, hey, my name's Montenegro. Okay.
You killed my father.
Prepare to die.
No, my brothers were born in Bari, Italy.
Coincidence?
Another one of those blinky things.
Yeah.
I think it's a shrimp, isn't it?
Yeah. That's like reflecting the lights in a weird way.
Yeah.
It's dark enough that we can see it, but it's still close enough that it's catching the light on the left side.
What was that on the left side of the screen? Another rock? Oh, we're about to be out of view anyways.
Yeah. A lot of those look interesting because there's little, but it's these little like lava flows, I think.
Oh yeah, you can. It's on sonar.
Little, because lava comes out in like multiple directions, so it makes little spherical balls on them. So I think the shadow makes it look like that.
Some people watching from their phone off the coast of Catalina.
Oh, that's cool.
Like on their boat?
Yes, on their friend's ship, the Avina.
Cool.
I wonder if they're going to the Painted Caves. Painted Cave? Is there just one?
They tied a GoPro to a brick and lowered it down to explore the
so try to be
water below
just
them.
like us. So if one of them
We thought
does
about
that,
doing that
That's
out there
an
one
ROV.
year.
if one of them
We
does it
wonder-
off
oh,
the,
That's a
GoPro?
rudimentary
Putting a
ROV.
GoPro on a stick.
yeah,
I
does
put
it
a
off the-
GoPro on a bosun's pole before and shot, launch, and recovery.
works. Yeah, if one person does it off the back and your friend goes and sits in a dark closet, it can be just like us.
For those
Bridge
watching
now.
who may not get that, there's about 7, 8 of us in 2 railroadway cars.
Shipping
Thank you.
containers.
Yes.
Railway cars.
Sorry.
Choo choo.
They roll back and forth the entire time.
That would be